each pair or each group should have a ruler. I just captured it. Please be good to them. Each group should have one pair of scissors. I also have extra scissors on each table. I think that those will be useful in terms of speeding things up dramatically. Aside from that, you want to give a quick overview of what's happening today?
Yes, so the last batch did a spectacular job. I'm wondering if you can match up to the freshman skills.
They were really good.
They were really good. So here's what we had. All of the students in the last batch were able to turn in a prototype, test it, figure out what went wrong, and redesign it.
And in many cases, redo
a trial, yes.
So
here's what we want to do today. We're going to realize that engineering is an iterative design process. You don't get stuff working in the first time around. Okay? So what you're going to do today is assemble your diagram. I've tried to be as accurate to your original design as possible. I might have made a few changes here and there. But I'd like you to build your design. You use the filter paper, use the pH paper. I have some milk that's spoiling here that we can test against. I have been doing, I've been measuring the pH of that milk over time, and it's dropping very slowly. So, but maybe by tomorrow we will see some serious drops in the pH. But we have some milk that you can test against. We have the super glue. Try and remember the problems you had building your devices yesterday. And then after you've tried one round of your prototypes, feel free to share with the rest of the class what you learned and what you shouldn't be doing in your next round. Right? And then in the last 1/2 hour, I'll give you a sheet of paper on which you can write down your thoughts on what went wrong and how you might choose to improve upon that design in the next step. Okay? All right.
So for us to do this, we'll have to be quick and efficient.
Yep.
We will be glad to be able to assist you. Questions at this point?
Another pair of scissors.
Ready, set, go.
All right. What's that? Yeah, you can. I'll get you some.
This might make this easier.
Nice, they're rolling. I'm putting my liquor. You're gonna layer everything. Oh yeah, in the post, please. Yeah, please highlight that time
Also, if any of you wanted your envelopes, I can get them to you from yesterday.
Yeah.
There's plenty of filter paper, so you can always take pictures.
in shot freeze on
What do you need? Oh, yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Did you just cut your name right off of it?
Or we can keep it.
Yeah, why not?
Leave it on one layer.
Yeah, okay. Sorry? Sure. Another cutting sheet?
Well, the small is
Alright, now you gotta
Need another cutting sheet? Yes. No, I gave them all up. But there's one that they're not using. Are you using that exact line? Are you going to use that one? Alright. Can I have it? Thank you.
I don't put on these. If they don't have MK, that's their problem.
What's that? That's the Duck of Doom. That tells me I have to do one more 80 steps.
I don't know about that.
No, they don't have those. They're built up so that they can serve those to get you because sometimes they're suspended.
Classic one.
Oh yeah, I can talk about
No, I mean like, what am I cutting this out?
I don't think they can straight up though. No, we have to cut off You're debating whether just to start just to start from here and use this. Is that okay?
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Also, here we have more room for them to travel. Is it okay? So can I just start going with that tip?
Yeah. That's the design you gave me. That's the one I made for you. Right? So you can modify it on the fly. Yeah.
So I have
Can you like glue a base on things when you're like
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Did you cut through the edge? No. Okay, good. I think what you want to do is build up your cut, so make your straight line. So if you're trying to cut that piece out, cut out the rectangle, then go inside that space, and then trim out the V shapes. In the last Yes. Looks like they're all used. Yeah, looks like they're all used.
that looks very good, Louis.
Okay, so how are we gonna
Let me see if I can find something else.
Yeah, because I agree. Even when I get 3, like you're 12, you can't cut them. So maybe if you made them into like 6 groups of 2, like Yeah, it's like just literally slide.
I know that they don't because it's not. They advertise it's like, oh,
Try one.
It's not gonna work. We made it to like make it into 4 groups of students.
I think he's like, oh, we have 19. Yeah, like
Croatia, they have like really good simulations where they're all built to serve as long as we learn those well. Yeah, I think we'll make it.
Okay, walk me through.
Semis maybe.
Walk me through your device.
oh no, I just didn't think that it was good.
So you get it from like a range, it's like that feels like a 1.
No, he never plays defense.
Yeah.
There'll be like 2 areas.
No, but he's better at defense.
Okay, walk me through your device. No. I'll go with the square.
Those are bad.
Don't put the blue on the part that I have.
He's already not very good. But he guards other teams like one of their
Katie is the only person who's ever crossed over.
he guards the whole crop. He also guards this surface.
Yeah. Here we are. And then we
Okay, well, why is it long break?
Walk me through your device.
so basically,
There's so many people. And why is the parts
It's not as precise as you try to do. You can get some sort of
the beautiful flash of light. Yes.
What's the range? Did you catch me talking to my?
No, hey, disconnect.
This new teacher in school.
There's a much larger.
you know what?
The one over there? Oh, yes. They're already slicing it down the middle and starting.
Name the last time you shot.
Yeah, well, that's their design.
He doesn't show up in
Derek got it.
2012.
Sushrut, what are you doing? Why not? Here, get a pair of scissors.
Yeah.
Do you remember some years when she spilled like a bucket of paint on it and she like tried to hide it and then she won second place in the contest, first place in the contest.
Oh yeah, Chloe.
Because she saw a bucket of yellow paint on her artwork and she turned it in at the end. It was so unfair. I'm trying to brand new.
He said that
Oh, I got serious. I got serious.
He doesn't have.
Remember how I was going to grade on even though his
Pretty much, yeah. Especially right now. Marathoners have pretty much said I watch so it really sticks.
It's not possible for them to bring. No, I don't know what that means.
So you're done with. You already made this read? What's this?
Oh, that just made me easier to calculate.
Did you glue it together?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. So that's your middle leg.
It seems to be like okay, well, what if they are meant to be? Why don't you just make
Okay, everybody say Biosensors.
Yeah.
How would you get started?
You made sure you got super glue afterward, right? Okay.
Alright, you want to try that?
I don't want to try. My cutting is terrible. I'm strictly a.
Okay, I'll start with the 1 and 2. That way you want to I'll try it, whatever.
if you're the best player, game one against you guys. Okay, yeah, so the Memphis series, the final game in the first quarter. The final two games in Memphis.
So you need to.
Everybody on our team is a Are you serious?
How's it going?
And so your Ph.D. group.
And then we need to cover the problem.
Yes.
Except for when we put the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have the paper?
I just don't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say I was gonna get it.
I think we only need one.
You sure?
Get it, but not get What?
What's in filter paper?
I would not do that because I don't have time.
You said you were going to right after this. I said no. I remember the conversation exactly.
Filter paper?
I said I was going to do it.
You'll need it soon enough.
Just some scissors. You said you were going to do it.
You did not say anything exactly what
I did, because I was going to how nice
It's there. If you have it, yeah.
Go to the store and get myself a pair of scissors after this.
I remember that.
And then right after that you said, I'm going to do this. So I said,
You guys getting ready to place your paper?
It might be a while.
Exactly. So
where were we at?
then the rest make mistakes.
Papers filter into
The rest make mistakes, right?
You're still not cutting anything.
Yeah, no, we need to.
Yeah, the filter paper's going in here, and then the
Are you guys ready for your
So
paper?
we're gonna put like we're gonna have to like fold up really small so it fits in the hole.
or we can just
Fold up more than it'll be.
I mean, then nothing's gonna come.
Maybe we can cut it and
Much more. Yeah, like I
What's that? Toothpicks. Why don't you use the edge of that? I guess you're trying to lower it onto there, right?
That's why
He leaves the
I don't have toothpaste, but you know what? My client might be able to twirl a piece of paper. She has a, it's gonna get super glued all over. Well, what if you lose a bite?
Everybody says it's like literally the best.
No, stick it with super glue.
Pretty intense.
You can use this. You can use this. Hold on. Linda, don't worry. You can use these.
She answers everything like.
Did you hear the commentators looking after?
We all know
That was the
games.
best. That was the best. So, everybody that was pretty good. It was.
So you glued your paper in?
There's one way to deal with it right away, which is you can make your device to see what makes a difference, but that's going to make things up. So let's take our way through this. So what's the best way to see if there's going to impact its ability to read?
And he doesn't even actually do it.
No, put it all over your life.
And check it out.
Without any glue in there. So, yeah.
He's saying
Do I say?
and his MVP speech proves that there is a
You might be able to scrape it out. You'll be okay with it.
A little bit of it on there. And then it should do it.
Yes, but don't put it on the plastic. Just glue it to the plastic then. So hold it suspended in the air.
He lost his opinions over and
Yes. All right. You ready to test? You ready to test? Place it right here.
literally coming from
Wait, how many of them did you stick together?
I wouldn't take it.
Wait a second. No.
Yep.
I keep putting more milk in mine. More milk?
Yeah.
Really like some paper though.
Go, Lyle, go.
Oh, look, it's coming from the other side too.
Well,
It seeped around it.
whatever works. Well, let's put more super glue on. That's extra super
Alright, well, you're running the reaction, so it's going through. Alright, take a moment to savor your loading rice for having the first device up front. And then think about what you can do with it.
I like the strike.
Yeah.
We should put it in less filter paper.
Yeah.
You want paper?
I can't tell if it really went through the filter paper or if all of it just went around.
You could essentially have it go through one channel, which is filter paper, one which is not, and see what you get different.
Well, someone's going to be doing that test, so you can wait for them.
Yeah, wait until someone just finds it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you just go more super glue, eventually seal it, right?
Yeah, as long as you don't seal that part.
Yeah, you want to place it and then super glue it on the inside, so that the super glue first seeps in and seals the edge.
Yeah. The thing is, you really don't have that much control over where the super glue goes when you squash it.
Yeah, if you put too close to the edge, you squash it, it'll fill the channel. If you put too far, then it seeps around.
5'8"? 5'8"? Well, it started out at about 6.2.
It's got a,
It's getting spoiled.
It's higher than 5.8. Remember, when you put more milk in, like that more.
This is
the
where
milk
we
makes it more
started.
opaque. It does now.
They all kind of look the same now after they've dried out.
They
but
do.
it started out at about 6.2 and it had dropped to 5.9 the last time. So this is still wet, so it's still
5.8.
yeah.
So it's the yellow part, not the orange.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys.
It's sealed.
Now, it should be for the record. You might want to focus on him now. Okay. All right, everyone.
Okay, everybody, listen, please.
We have just concluded our first test. Hold it up. Big smile. and now, for the benefit of everyone, can you share some of your observations and what you've learned from this prototype?
Well, I think we used too much filter paper because what happened was that instead of going through the filter paper, the milk kind of just seeped around it through the glue. And I don't know, so it's kind of hard to tell if it was actually being filtered or not. It seemed to work once it reached the filter paper.
Okay, so it sort of circumvented the filter paper. You might want to fix that in the next iteration. What else? What else did you learn?
It was kind of leaking, so we need to make sure it's sealed all the way around so that it does go through the channels and doesn't go around everything.
All right. Well, hopefully you can use that information in your design, so you'll make new mistakes. All right. All right. Thank you.
Yay.
Yay. So, see if you can make simple improvements to this prototype and see if you can run another experiment. You can always try more. All right, I'll get you some more.
Absolutely. Let's go do it. Okay, and so what you can do is you're going to take a drop as well and just put it right through the drop in the milk right here. And you can just dip them, and then here are your
No, just. Oh, is this super glue?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. You can just put the both of them.
What do you see? What do you see right off the bat?
It doesn't look like it just looks like it's not really.
It's actually not even wicking into the paper.
Yeah. There's a super glue issue.
Okay, Grace. We can't use super glue.
Okay, but
Two layers, or do we need?
that was certainly
You can. That's fine. Do it okay.
get what it works, right?
Pioneer.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. Oh, everybody, a discovery. You want to share it?
Sure.
Yeah.
We found out.
Well, so tell them how you did it and what did you find out?
So basically we accidentally glued the pH paper to our base of our thing, and so we tested to see if like if the glue on the pH paper affects if it can tell the pH of the milk, and we can't.
Why not? Why not? So what's going on inside?
It's kind of like it's blocking it from you.
What's going on? So what is super glue? It's a plastic. It's a polymer. So it's actually encasing the paper and preventing the milk from seeping into the paper.
So, there you go, in terms of super glue.
Yeah, don't super glue your paper into the device.
Which is very useful.
Okay, so
Excellent.
we designed it so that it'll like fall out the bottom. So is there like I guess we can put it on a paper towel.
Sure.
Because it was supposed to like sit on a cup anyway.
Okay.
So
All right. Go ahead.
okay. You wanna? I would like to pip it. That's okay. Do it.
So it goes in from this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, some people will do these.
How much should I get?
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, that was not completely close.
Is it going through? It's not going this way. Can we like tap it?
Yeah. try and see if you can break the. Do you have an X-Acto knife? You can try and break the surface tension by sort of shoving it in there a little bit. I think you might have glued that channel shut.
Oh no. Really?
Well, it's going everywhere. What's the channel?
Okay.
But now, if the channel is glued but it's still going through, you can still add stuff to see what's going to happen further down.
Yeah.
Right.
So
because
yeah.
Well, yeah, but there's a cover on it.
There's a cover on what?
The top. It's like.
Right.
No,
But
that's okay. Just add more milk there.
right? Because it should just
Oh,
go like
okay.
this one.
Okay.
So even if it doesn't work the way you want it to, you can still continue with it sometimes.
You are talking about the problem.
Well, what's more, you have a second entry port there, right? Sorry.
If we flip it over, it might. Let me think.
Oh, so is it open on the other side?
Yeah, but it wouldn't filter it. Yeah, it wouldn't filter it.
That's okay. At least you'll see if there's a new
Okay,
channel
so we should
transport.
flip it over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You just wipe it off on this side. Oh, wait. You got some milk in there.
What? So it wasn't.
Yeah.
So you can do that.
You can sort of push it through, yeah.
Okay. See how I'm doing that? It's like a heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what you can do is if you squeeze like this and you put the milk in and then you let go, it'll just go down.
Yeah, you can push it forward.
So the milk in there. Always manipulate your device until you can do nothing more. Right? That's what you engineers do, right?
Not scientists, though.
Not scientists, no.
Okay, there we go. Oh, okay. No. Oh, okay, there we go.
That's okay. Let's see what it
Oh,
does.
yay! We should page paper. I can't tell what to do. Is it down?
It's there, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's there.
it's not irritating.
Well, just be patient with it because it's going.
No, it's not changing because it's probably really acidic at this point. It obviously it's changed color from here.
Oh, okay. We just can't see it.
Yeah, there's the issue at this point is what's the extent to which the milk itself causes things to be opaque.
Yeah, you can see it on the other side. It's slightly more greenish, I guess.
It's small, it's very small.
Okay.
So, what would you do differently?
I mean, probably not putting a cover on it.
Yeah, so maybe it'd be easier to.
Not putting a cover, it'll just beat up.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
need
okay.
the closed channel for capillary reaction to take place.
Okay. And then.
So what you might want to do is before you put your top layer on, you might want to clean out the channel really nicely.
Okay. And then like glue the sides better.
Yeah.
And seal them and whatever. Okay.
You're getting there.
Okay.
There's a reason that we use machines to make stuff.
Because people aren't connected.
All right.
Okay.
Do you guys want to share anything that?
We could.
Yeah. All right. We
You
have
got something you want to share?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
we have a couple more observations here.
Okay, so we had kind of a similar problem where, well, our channel had like it wouldn't go through. So we, if you bend it a little bit, you can kind of get it to like go through easier. And then we also the milk like seeped out through the like out around in like this area, and so we probably should have glued it better to seal it.
Okay.
Is that it? Okay.
All right. Very good.
We're about to find out. But it's going to be so hard to actually.
Yeah, how do you make a note go through?
Or we'll just start here. Maybe we should just start right here.
Well, you could.
You can.
It's up to you.
You can kind of do something like treat one end as a dropper. So you push down on that end, put a drop of milk and let that end release and it kind of gets sucked in.
So you just put your drop on and then you just take a piece and overlay it and just push with your finger.
Yeah, or you just kind of massage it in.
So it's essentially a micro injector.
So we're just pushing the drop, pressuring it through.
Yeah.
Right. What's that? No. Because you've got your cup, right? And then your drop's going to be down. And then as long as you put it on there and don't give it too much of a push, you feel like this is the pressure, push it more fast. We think. Let's see.
The other thing you can do is lap those pieces, so you don't need to cut one serpentine piece, just make lots of little pieces and little rings, and then just lap them. Yeah, exactly what you're doing, but it's small sections at a USB connect. What are you guys doing?
Yes. I've never had a non-sellout. Yeah, best fit.
See, since we're using squeezed it, just cut. Oh yeah, we could have squeezed it. Wait, this is better.
Okay, oh, wait.
I missed the 140 reading.
That's true.
So you're trying the micro injection process, kind of. Is it working?
So it's getting stuck. I think the glue might be super.
Let me see it. What is this? So we actually just squeezed on there. Hard separated.
Just let it dry. Let it dry.
Why did you
Hey, John, huh? Yeah, turn me and again against your shirt. So we're good. Good, got it.
Is it fully? All those sensibilities. I like all these. You're not done. You probably should one thing. Yeah, I know. Check it.
So if we just using the paper isn't containing the channels, spreads on the
I can deadlift workout ball. Is that acceptable?
Okay, do you guys have something you can share with everybody on this or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
So how did it go? What happened?
Well, we basically made a mistake by making the filter paper this big, because then the milk just spread throughout the filter paper and it came out with actually the pH paper.
Okay.
So we'd have to, I guess, contain the filter paper somehow, either by cutting in this exact shape, but that's probably really difficult. We're just cutting out a smaller piece so that It just
Okay.
doesn't absorb everything.
All right. So what was the point of the these two chambers?
Alright, so this chamber was just to help the milk go down through the filter paper, and this one was just to help collect that all the milk that came out through the filter paper and then drain it.
We did 4 cards. Yeah, we did 4 cards. So we did 4 cards.
So how close are you guys?
It's waiting for the dry already.
Very good. So how close are you guys?
Very close, right?
Oh, that's the bottom. But we're not gonna glue it on.
Either very close or not very close, depending on what they're.
All right.
I know your name.
Excuse me? Sorry. Okay. Let's go.
Do you want to cap that super glue there, please? Do you want to cap it?
There we go.
All right, we have a new contender. Yeah, we call this the sensor dome.
The dream team.
The sensor dome. Yeah.
Extra plastic is not going to kill you.
Instead of shadow dome.
Instead of thunder dome.
Oh, thunder dome, that's it.
Wait, who wants to be the witch?
You can just put it. It's not easy to go, is it?
Not that. He was good.
One smoky, one unfilled.
Try that again. Go ahead. It's not gonna bite, so don't be.
It's milk,
Yeah.
guys. It's literally milk.
It just feels like 3 hours faster or something. I think some of it goes down. Actually, we didn't give us more here.
It's going down there, but you might want to wipe this off so it doesn't try and take that same path again and again.
They actually did design it.
It doesn't help. You were offensive.
It's just that the design is good.
What we should do then is
Oh, there we go.
Cheerleading, really.
It's the spirit. Maybe we should just.
Yeah, I did. Oh, yeah, I showed it to you. I said nice.
Did you sort of clean out the channels before you put the top layer on?
A little bit, yeah. Not like extensive.
It's not passing that junction there for some reason.
Here might be too much. Okay.
Alright, what did we learn?
To make sure the channels are clear.
Yes.
Yeah, I looked at she's so obvious.
Yeah, I got it.
She's great.
Yeah, and like he's at the front of the room. I mean, I
Yeah, so they did their first.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think once everyone gets their first prototype done, they can do the writing. Do the writing? Yeah, because there's a number of groups, so they might want to share some of their thoughts. And that might take longer than the 5 minutes that we took for the last two.
So if we end early today, that's okay.
Well, they can continue to work, yeah, on a refined design.
Sorry. Oh wait, didn't you say when we do the pressurizing, like use filter paper? Bring some filter paper just in case.
42.
We have some right here. You already spilled milk. Yeah, don't try what I Now we have.
No, use plastic, it will just wick into it.
Oh, plastic. No, squish it.
Yeah.
Squish it. It's not moving.
It's not leaking because there's so much fluid. Wait, no, it's going.
It's going slowly.
You have to put more behind it.
This time for you.
Keep pushing.
Why don't we tap it?
Okay.
Is it covered on the top here?
Yeah. Is that not a good idea?
No, that's what you need.
More, and then we're going to cover it even. Perfect.
Wait, no, don't.
Is your pH paper not covered?
Our pH paper is not covered.
Oh, what's the point then?
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll just hope no milk gets there. Go, no.
No, it's okay. No, this isn't working.
I don't want to touch it.
Like sucking it back up.
Yeah, wait. Maybe we tilt it.
And get that plastic off and it's attached to the bottom.
Alright, this is not going anywhere.
You just put it
Oh yeah, that's a better idea.
It's not going any further.
Yeah. Wait, it's going.
No, it's just going all the way through.
Alright, lesson learned, no
Wait, so
serpentine.
did it go in at all?
Well, it went, no, there's some here, and there's some like right there.
What if we just blow it in there? No, that's not gonna work. Okay.
Just dunk it like an Oreo.
Okay.
So try from this end.
Oh yeah, true. Good idea.
So.
Well, then it's gotta.
Just tip it up, tip it up. Yeah.
How is it perfect? It's so much easier to just go down a straight path. Why is it bending?
Wait, I
Oh,
don't.
it's right underneath the moving.
No, but why? It's not even.
It's not. Everything else is sealed really well. It's the top layer. You didn't want to touch it.
Oh yeah, she just carried it down with her finger when she brought it down from there to there.
Well, it hits the paper.
But look at that, you got it. You matched it. You just put it together poorly and then squash it. Vikram, it's a moment of genius.
Well, so, guess no serpentine.
No, the issue is just that we had the layer that's not moving.
No, it didn't even work its way through.
I think you guys have a pretty strong conclusion here.
No serpentine.
Yeah. So for the camera, we have another observation. Yeah. We have another observation.
The serpentine doesn't work. So don't use it.
Alright. Well, so the challenge for those. So the challenge for you guys is make it worse.
Yeah, you guys could try, but it didn't work for us at all. But you just scratch and start over.
Okay, coming around here.
In the next 15 minutes, write down your thoughts on what went wrong with your first design and what you're going to do to improve your design. Okay? As a hint for the second question, I have 4 sub-questions in there.
Listen, please.
I have 4 sub-questions in there for your second design. Try and address each of them in your criticism, your self-criticism for your first prototype, and see if you can improve upon those for your second prototype. Okay? And the people who are doing the serpentines, your prototypes are still lagging, so I haven't given you your assignments yet, but come on and get your tests done. So when we have about 20 minutes left, at 40 past, we're going to go around the class and just share our thoughts about what went wrong and what we're going to do for the next iteration. So how far along are you?
Maybe we'll just leave it.
Okay, you can put that.
If we have time next time.
Actually put me on an easy map.
Pretty well.
I'll play you
I'd probably like to take
That part. We should get a toothpick. It doesn't go anywhere now. Maybe it works now. It doesn't bend anymore. Oh. Yeah, maybe. There's like way too much stuff. I think it's too much. Yeah. If tilted. Oh, okay. Dang it. It's kind of. Did you just crack it in half? I just broke a bunch of glue. Are you sure it was this?
What's that one?
No, it's fine. I didn't use the plastic. Come on, go.
There's a
can't see the top.
ours is a cat.
I think it's oh, there we go. Is it gonna get through? It's not gonna be PhD. Yeah, there's like way too much. It doesn't seem out anymore. Yeah, it does. It's right there. Yeah, it's right there. It was not. Okay. Yes, it has. Because it hasn't been. Wait, I think you actually cracked it because yeah, I think you cracked it because it keeps. Oh, well that's complicated. Okay, well.
You're doing
Oh, am I?
No, me too. Oh no, we have to.
We solved it.
Yeah, let's see if this works.
Okay, so I
Oh my god.
That's your fault.
Yeah, but just breaking the top layer. I think it's starting to be oh my god. Lewis, you're terrible at gluing. It was totally solid. I swear the top layer was solid.
The top. What about all the other ones?
Those are fun. Oh, it's moving.
Okay. If you want to.
But we can just lay it.
What are you doing?
Well,
it's not a hole.
Will, it's not. It's just the surface. Oh my god.
Okay, so this is
Okay. That could have gone better.
It was just lack of
Skill
secure layers.
So it was your fault.
Yeah, it was basically my fault.
What's the issue here?
The layers weren't sealed up. So the
Oh no.
right in there, and then we put.
It's not even gonna go down. No, just take it off. Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm glad that I did my wildest dream. Oh, dang, girl. 4 layers. I think
All right.
I think our filter paper is so
Add warmness. Saturate the filter paper.
It's kind of working. I mean, oh man. I'm glad that we put in all that filter paper. It's not moving.
No, it should. Filter paper should bring it
A
up.
little bit.
Let's see. Is it in there?
Should we add more layers next time?
Not really. Actually, fewer layers, if anything, will be better.
But we had just 3, right?
So you had filter paper in here, right?
Yeah.
And then any filter paper down here?
Yeah. Oh, the filter paper goes
So that should have worked. Maybe what happened is the filter paper soaked some of your super glue
Maybe.
and it created a bond there. Did you let it dry before you put? Or I guess you must have sealed it on the top.
I think we might have just used too much super glue for sealing.
Yeah, so that's your problem. So you had the right idea.
Alright.
Because you need the filter paper to wick around the fluids. It will, and filter paper will really allow fluids to run really fast along. Right?
Okay, well, we know that next time. Yeah.
Alright? Good. You don't have the top layer?
Wait, should I get those?
Wait, if we use the top layer, we have to glue it down.
Wait, so we're just gonna glue this.
No, then we would have to glue
Alright, here's what you want to do. Just slice it down here. No, put it all the way down here. Make sure it doesn't go on the filter paper.
There's one.
Don't put it too close to the mic. Yeah, once you squish it in, it'll go on the filter paper. Just oh, the world is watching the serpentine.
Not even a game.
Careful, you've got extra super glue on that end. Because your piece of plastic only comes up to this line, and you've got super glue here that's not going to get covered. Just put your piece of plastic and then put it out.
Really wide and shouldn't be this straight.
Yeah, they need to discover that for themselves. I think they're doing that.
Why are they supposed to have a whiteboard in the back? Well, we're not using those.
What do you mean? The filter paper?
Yeah.
Oh, that's to wick along the
Yeah, I think you just.
to it, and also to filter it a little bit.
Yeah, but we need to just do that edit, right?
Yeah, there's an option. What I would do is just inject some down here and inject some down here.
It's not even going through.
Try a trick here. You need it into the channel.
Okay, so against the paper.
Yeah.
Just try the other side.
Yeah. I think, yeah, try this. I think what happened is your super glue flowed into the paper and clogged it up. Because filter paper upgrades really easily.
Yeah. It's just not flowing.
I think it's not.
Yeah, there's a little bit in this section, but it's stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some in there.
It's not even making its way down.
Yeah, it's wet in the paper.
Not my downwards, dude.
Well, and you hit your filter paper there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it did change color. You can see that.
It looks pretty.
Okay. You have 5 more minutes to finish up your report.
How's it going?
So do you have any design? So why can't we split and
Well, we thought we could do the final pH thing, we can't let them get
so why can't
Yeah, the pH
and then we had the other side because we kept that because it's like in this part.
or you can just use the second one. So cheap to make or
But you know how long it took us to make one?
so you're hitting on something that's really important. Okay.
And So if you guys want to grab
So
your cutting,
the new design is going to be what?
if you want to grab your cutting sheet,
Is
you just do it on the cutting sheet.
the filter paper ends up wicking away the moisture, so you don't want to inlay a strip of filter paper here and a strip of filter paper here.
Wait,
If you're thinking of a filter back even if you inlay a strip in here and in here, it's going to contact fluid. It's going to give you the same filtration property. Right? So you might want to change that for
So, in this case, I want any more milk. Because this is going
You didn't work on your bracket
Okay, so your milk is going. It followed your channel perfectly.
Go, Monica. Yeah. On the outside, though, right?
Yeah. It just flowed perfectly. I think we should have sealed it better.
Yeah. So everything moved along the inside as you desired. It's just a sealing issue. So you can think about how you modify this. Is it too simple? Is it too elaborate? But your next prototype should be easy though, right?
Yeah.
You know you can do it. And you can probably do it, and the simpler it is, the easier it should be to seal, right?
All right. Everyone testing.
Okay, everybody, announcement. Everyone look up here, please.
So, what I'd like to do now is a couple things. I want us to go around the class and one person per group just yell out, well, don't yell out, just tell everybody what your biggest conclusion, what your biggest lesson was from the first prototype, which is going to not show up, or that issue is no longer going to be present in your second prototype. Okay? And then I'm going to finish up by talking a little bit about engineering design as an iterative process. Right? So you guys want to start first because you were the first testers?
Okay, so
just one or two bullet points, highlights of your design that you're going to change.
All in all, it's alright.
everybody listen, please.
We need to glue the outside better because we had the same secret problem that we saw a bunch of other people had. Just to make sure that the milk didn't go outside of the channels. That was the main thing. Everything else worked fine.
Okay. Who wants to go next? You guys want to go next?
So our problem was the serpentine, and we're not going to use the serpentine again. It didn't get anywhere from the well, and it just stopped before. Well, yeah.
Go ahead, knock the mic down and have someone else.
Okay. So we basically had a lot of seepage problems also. Yeah, we just didn't seal it well enough, and the milk got literally everywhere, and it did everywhere except for the pH paper. So yeah, didn't do what we wanted it to, really.
We also had the same problem with the serpentine, block. It really didn't do anything. The milk really didn't get anywhere once it got to that part. And we also had some problems with the filter paper. We used too much of it and just absorbed all the milk, and the milk didn't go anywhere.
Our main problem was this: we had 3 serpentines in our model, so it was way too complicated. And after we finally finished cutting, we realized from our first test that yeah, the milk just couldn't get through, and that was hard along with the glue, because when the glue clogged the serpentine, then there was absolutely no way that the milk could get through. So yeah, when we redesign, we're just going to use the tank looking blocks, and yeah, just make one clear path.
So basically, we had the same problems that a lot of the class had. We used a serpentine thing, which didn't really help at all. It just complicated it, and we took the most time cutting that out. We also needed to glue better around. We had seepage problems also, and we're basically our next prototype is going to be something a lot more basic. That is, yeah, more basic that we can do.
Unfortunately, we used too much super glue, so while it was sealed really well, the filter paper sucked it all up, and that created a lot of problems.
We kind of had the same problem, like the channels for like the milk weren't really very clear, so the milk barely made it to the pH paper. So our design's actually kind of pretty simple. We just need to find a way to use the filter papers to get the milk to the pH paper and get results.
Keep kidding. Okay, so we had the same problem Donna's group did, was we clogged up the channels with the super glue. So next time we're gonna not do that, and also we're gonna use pH paper to wick it through the channels. Is that everybody?
Yes. So what you have discovered for yourselves is this notion in engineering called design for manufacturability. We may have spoken a little bit about it, but the idea is that how do you design something so it becomes easy to make, right? And then the beauty of an engineered design product is not in how complicated it looks, but rather how simple it is, right? It should be the, well, gosh, why didn't I think of it kind of design, right? So I'd like you to keep that in mind, and for tomorrow's iteration, you can either come up with the line art for yourselves, or I can help you with the line art again. If you're not changing your line art and you're essentially going to just refine your implementation of the device, then that's fine. We can just print off another copy. But if you want a new design, I'm happy to help you, especially for those who use the crazy serpentine blocks. Right? If you want a different design, I can help you do it, or you can do it yourself. All right. So, any last parting thoughts? Yes, absolutely. One last thing. Please clean up after yourselves. We've got more super glue and more plastic bits than ever before. So let's try and clean up after ourselves, okay? Thank you.